as it were, the noise of thunder. One of the four beasts saying, "Come and see." And I saw, and behold, a white horse. There's a man going round taking names, and he decides who to free and who to blame. Everybody won't be treated all
So
the
I'm
same.
going to go out and see what they want. Yes.
Hello, Walter.
Hi, Arthur. I wonder if I could just give you a copy, please, of the court order. This is for you. It basically outlines the fact we have the right to enter today. What I would really,
Please, you don't have to get into a personal space. Thank you.
what I would,
Well, you're in my
Yeah,
personal
exactly.
space, so
Can I explain to you, Arthur?
I'm not
Can I-
really
can
interested
I-
in
can
what
I
you have to say.
explain- Can I explain to you?
I'm reading.
Okay. What we'd want to do is make sure that we're not going to disrupt anything with the service. The idea
This is you have a wrong. This is not street church. This is not street church. You have a wrong.
There's both things are actually on there. Both churches are detailed on there. So if we could come and do
The
an
Cave of
inspection-
Adullam is not a registered organization, and this is not street church. So you have a wrong. You gotta
Okay.
do your homework first before you come. Okay? You have a wrong. You have a wrong organization.
Okay, that is for you, Arta.
Yeah.
I will send it to you by email too, if you'd like. I just wanted to be able to come today and then at least explain the order, serve the order, and then we can stand at the back.
No, you can contact.
stand at the
No,
back
no, 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 no,
during
no.
the service
You
and
can
just
contact
say,
my lawyer. Okay, my lawyer takes care of this. I'm not interested to listen to any word you have to say. I do not cooperate with the Gestapo. I do not talk to the Nazis. You came in your uniforms like thugs. That's what you are. Brown shirts of Adolf Hitler. You are Nazi, Gestapo, communist, fascist. I do not cooperate with Nazis. Talk to my lawyer. You're not allowed here. You're not welcomed here. And I'm not going to cooperate with Gestapo like you, okay? So is that fair enough for you?
Arta,
Talk
I
to
just
my
wanted-
lawyer.
I just wanted to explain a little bit about the order.
I'm not
I
interested.
just wanted to at least have a conversation.
I'm not
And then we
interested
can
in
talk
talking. You
about
see,
some of
you see,
the
this is what the
requirements.
Gestapo is doing. You're coming to the place of worship to intimidate
We're not
and to
intimidating,
harass.
we're
So
just
you
to
can
make
make
sure
an
that you-
appointment, lady. Listen to me.
We can
You can
make-
make an appointment another day.
Okay, there's
You
no-
Gestapo
you don't need to shout.
another day.
You don't need to shout.
Not this day.
You don't need to shout.
Not this day.
Okay,
Not during the church.
okay,
You understand? Make an appointment.
okay, fine.
Okay, so go.
See you later on. Have a good day.
You are sick. That's what you are. And rightfully so, you change your uniforms to black because you're exactly acting like the Gestapo of old. Sickening what this country came to. Coming to the place of worship with their uniform, with their guns, again, during the time of worship. They could do it another time. They could do it another day. No, they are following the orders of the Führer, Hitler, communists. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Wicked, evil people. Wicked, evil people. Unbelievable. It is what it is. If Canadians will not rise up and stand up, if they will not come to their senses, while there is still a time, while there is a time to wake up and push this evil, there will be absolutely no rights whatsoever. If they can get away with this, they're going to come anywhere else. And you know, that's what people do not understand. They think this is some kind of a game. You think that they're here for your health? Seriously? They could come any day of the week. They could call me. They could say, hey, we want to inspect your facility. We want to come. No, they want to do it during the church service. because they have a purpose, they have an agenda. If you're not seeing it, then you're playing either stupid, blind, and deaf. I have been warning you for 16 years about what's coming, and it's here. And it's up to you. Either you're going to keep pushing as hard as you can, or you're going to be swollen by those people. The history is teaching us that those types of people will never stop. They're going to keep coming, keep taking your rights one after another, destroying you by thousands of cuts. One cut at a time, one little law at a time, and then eventually you're going to wake up and you will be in a concentration camp, like my brother says, turned into a soap. When we were warning Canadians and Americans, Westerners, about what's coming, we could smell it for many years. People are laughing at us. Oh, you're just making this stuff up. You're blowing this out of proportion. You conspiracy theorist. However, it's here. It's here. And you cannot come and worship God without the interference of the Gestapo. You cannot pray with people. You cannot associate. You cannot have a Lord's Supper together. Why? Because the government says so. You would think that this would happen in China, in Russia, but it's happening here in a Western democracy. What are you going to do about it? Will you stand up? Will you fight? Will you push? Or will you just bow to the medical tyranny, because that's what it is, and give up everything? Because they're coming for everything. Wake up or else. So what are you thinking? They came like Gestapo again in the black uniforms.
Those people are possessed. I can't see how dare you, the second time. Come here, they were going away. And we held all this video. All the entire world is supporting us. Christians supporting us. People, regular people who are not Christians supporting us. It's unbelievable. It is. But we fight and we win. They left now, second time. We win.
I don't know what they're pushing for. I think they're pushing for a revolution. I truly believe that they're pushing so hard because they want a reaction. They want a martial law. They want a revolution. They want to come heavy on the people, and they're not stopping. That's the scary part. They're not stopping. They're not slowing down. They're breaking every right under our Constitution, the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. They are breaking it in front of our eyes, and it looks like they can get away with a murder. They can get away with anything. And the politicians should be charged with treason. All of them, they should be charged with treason. What they're doing is illegal, unconstitutional, against the people. They're not serving people anymore. They are working against the people, and it's up to the people to show them if they will bow and allow them to continue to do that, or they will rise up, stand up, and remove those evil, wicked, wannabe dictators from their places of authority without pension. And they should be charged for treason, criminal charges. They should lose their salary and they should lose their pensions. And everyone that partook in this, they should lose their pension and their salaries as well, and they should be charged for.
Be a golden ladder reaching down. When the man
was
comes
the
around.
epicenter of the 7.1 earthquake, right in the heart of the San Francisco.
San Francisco has now
The
become a
hairs
war zone.
on your arm
This preacher, I don't
will
know what
stand
is
up.
going to be left of this city.
At the terror,
I can only
in
pray
sip
that
and
this
in
is the
sup.
end.
Will you partake of that last offered cup, or disappear into the potter's ground when the man comes around?
If you'll kindly allow me to, I need to show you evidence of said plan, pre-planned many years ago, and in order to do that, we'll at this time end the live stream and redirect you to the website if you're not already there. Pictured here is an October 2017 publication, 2017, from the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security, bearing the title, SPARS Pandemic, 2025 to 2028, a futuristic scenario for public health risk communications. The preface, very telling. It lays out a social media scenario with the heading, Possible Future in 2025, the Echo Chamber. Listen to these quotes. Ultimately, a world comprised of isolated and highly fragmented communities with widespread access to information technology dubbed the echo chamber was selected as the future in which the prospective scenario would take place. In the year 2025, the world has become simultaneously more connected, yet more divided. However, many have chosen to self-restrict the sources they turn to for information, often electing to interact only with those with whom they agree. This trend has increasingly isolated cliques from one another, making communication across and between these groups more and more difficult. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, and other public health agencies have increasingly adopted a diverse range of social media technologies, including long-existing platforms such as Facebook, Snapchat, and Twitter, as well as emerging platforms like ZapQ, a platform that enables users to aggregate and archive selected media content from other platforms and communicate with cloud-based social groups based on common interests and current events. 2017. When you get to chapter 1, titled, The SPARS Outbreak Begins, they state, and I quote, in mid-October 2025, 3 deaths were reported among members of the First Baptist Church of St. Paul, Minnesota. Oh, how convenient. 2 of the church members had recently returned from a missionary trip to the Philippines. The third was the mother of a church member who had also traveled to the Philippines with the church group. Are you with me on this? Are you hearing this? Are you getting this? We're going to control the narrative on social media. We're actually going to tag everything you post, and we're going to fact check. Sorry. And we're going to censor and silence. Why? Because of the lie. And so we're going to redirect social media to the narrative that we want you to believe. That's what this is. And that's what they're doing. And this is a script. And it's happening exactly like they planned it to happen. When you get to the end of the chapter, they have a section titled Communication Dilemma. And they pose the following questions. Number 1, how can health authorities best meet public demands for critical information, such as, what is the health threat? And what do I know about it? When the crisis is still unfolding and not all the facts are known. Number two, what benefits does monitoring trends in social media, stop right there. Monitoring? You're not just monitoring. You're scrubbing. You're silencing. You're censoring. You're removing. Social media posting. What benefits does monitoring trends in social media postings confer on efforts to meet people's information needs during an evolving health crisis? 2017, what were you doing in 2017? Yeah, the whole year. What were you doing the whole year in 2017? This is what they were doing, and this is what they were planning. Number three, what medical and morale-boosting purposes does sharing information about self-protective actions serve for the public during an uncertain and fear-instilling situation? It's important to note that this was published subsequent to Scenarios for the Future of Technology and International Development from none other than the Rockefeller Foundation and Global Business Network 7 years prior, back in May of 2010. In this future scenario, they simulate a global pandemic, 2010, stating, and I quote, in 2012, the pandemic that the world had been anticipating for years finally hit. We were anticipating? Oh, yeah. You know why? Because we pre-programmed this into all the movies you flocked to the theaters to watch. We pre-programmed it in your kids' cartoons when you shoved them in front of the TV. And we started doing this long time ago. We actually programmed you to anticipate what we were going to do to you. Have a nice afternoon. This reads, again, like a movie script, because it is. And when you get to the chapter titled Lockstep, a world of tighter top-down government control and more authoritarian leadership with limited innovation and growing citizen pushback, you would think that you were watching the news in May of 2021, 11 years later. Because it's exactly what's happened. And we talked about this prior. Down to the face masks and the social distancing and the travel restrictions and the lockdowns and the surveillance and the digital biometric IDs. It's all here. It's all here. That's their plan. That's their plan.
Hear the trumpets, hear the pipers. 100 million angels singing. Multitudes are marching to the big kettle drum. Voices calling, voices crying. Some are born and some are dying. It's Alpha and Omega's kingdom come. And the whirlwind is in the thorn tree. The virgins are all trimming their wicks. The whirlwind is in the thorn tree. It's hard for thee to kick against the pricks.
The aforementioned Johns Hopkins, along with the World Economic Forum and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, conducted Event 201, which was a high-level pandemic exercise simulating a global outbreak, modeling what they called a fictional coronavirus. Now, October, let's just bear with me. October 2019. And then it happened, a couple months later? Things that make you go, If this weren't bad enough, on July 9th of this year, this is my birthday, happy birthday to me. The World Economic Forum, for my birthday, will stage their annual cyber attack exercise as it continues to prep for a potential cyber pandemic that founder Klaus Schwab says will be worse than the current global crisis. Oh, thanks for the heads up. So this is what you got planned. So you got the SPARS pandemic. What a coincidence. 2025, 2028, that's interesting by itself. And then July 2021, you're going to simulate a cyber pandemic? Well, let's see. This is May, June. I got a couple months. So this is going to happen this year, 2021. 20 years ago, in June of the year 2001, did you know that they had a planned exercise called Operation Dark Winter? Do you know what it was? It was a simulation of a bioterrorist smallpox virus attack. 2001. More specifically, the U.S. government's response using military force. It should be noted that on the cover it states this is the property of Johns Hopkins Center for Civilian Biodefense, Center for Strategic and International Studies. Here's a quote from page 8. Each and every one of the 3.5 million citizens of Oklahoma will receive the smallpox vaccine in the next 72 hours. I think it's important we reassure people that the government is going to take care of them. Wow. This is from page 28. Before committing U.S. troops, the president must issue a proclamation for rebellious citizens to disperse, cease, and desist. Martial law depends for its justification upon public necessity. Necessity gives rise to its creation. Necessity justifies its exercise, and necessity limits its duration. The extent of the military force used and the actual measures taken consequently will depend upon the actual threat, listen, to order and public safety, which exists at the time. The president normally announces his decision by a proclamation which should detail the substance of the martial rule. Listen to this quote from page 32. Situation briefing, status of epidemic, slide 6. Dangerous misinformation in some media. Reports of good vaccine, bad vaccine. And get this, quoting, hate speech targeting certain ethnic groups. How did they know? Because they planned it and then they executed the plan. That's how. Here's what we're going to do. And we did it. I mean, you know what I find interesting is this veiled mention of social media as, quote, dangerous misinformation in some media. Oh, how did they know? I mean, neither social media nor their propaganda of misinformation existed in 2001. And it's evidenced by this future marketing website showing a timeline of the history of social media. YouTube did not come until 2005, 4 years later. Facebook was not open to the public until 2006, 5 years later. Twitter followed as well. And again, all of them were 4-5 years after Operation Dark Winter, which was 2 months approximately before 9/11. You know what's not talked about very much? Is the anthrax that ensued. Do you know what that was about? That was about everything that is happening now. Here's where I'm going with all this. The common denominator is that they're all pre-planned plans to manufacture a crisis. It's textbook Hegelian dialectic.
Till Armageddon, no shalom, no shalom. Then the father hen will call his chickens home. The wise men will bow down before the throne, and at his feet they'll cast their golden crowns when the man comes around.
Create the crisis, then control the reaction. I think it was Lenin who was quoted as saying, the only way to control the opposition is to lead it. So, create the crisis, control the opposition, then execute the pre-planned final solution. The problem is that said final solution is the demonic deception that God in His Word has detailed for us in the pages of Bible prophecy. I'd like to draw your attention to Revelation chapter 18, verse 23. The light of a lamp shall not shine in you anymore. This is the prophecy concerning Babylon, and it comports with Isaiah 14, which was a dual prophecy concerning Babylon then, and yet future prophetically the Babylon in Revelation 17 and 18. It's actually two Babylons. It's commercial Babylon and religious Babylon. The voice of bridegroom and bride shall not be heard in you anymore, for your merchants were the great men of the earth, for by your sorcery all the nations were deceived. Every nation by your sorcery. Revelation 9, verse 21. And they did not repent of their murders or their, here it is again, sorceries, or their sexual immorality, or their thefts. Why do I highlight and emphasize sorceries? Because In the original language of the Greek New Testament, the word sorcery is where we get our English word for pharma. It's actually in the Greek pharmakia, where we get pharmacy, pharmaceuticals. So let's revisit now these prophecies concerning the deception of these sorceries. In other words, there will be a deception. All of the nations on earth will be deceived by some pharmaceutical deception. And if you only understood the implications of this, because it carries with it the idea of a magic potion, a poison that was used in ritual witchcraft and satanic magic arts. That's what this is. Man, I take a lot of heat for this, but whatever. Bring it on. Thank you.
Whoever is unjust, let him be unjust still. Whoever is righteous, let him be righteous still. Whoever is filthy, let him be filthy still. Listen to the words long written down when the man comes around. Hear the trumpets, hear the pipers, 100 million angels singing. Multitudes are marching to the big kettle drum. Voices calling, voices crying.
And the Lord knows my heart on this. I truly believe, and I'm becoming increasingly convinced, that it will be a pharmaceutical in the form of a vaccine in some form that will become the mark of the beast during the 7-year tribulation after the rapture of the church, which has to happen before the 7-year tribulation. Revelation 16:2. This is one of several reasons that I am becoming increasingly convinced that it is a pharmaceutical vaccine in some form. There will be this horrific medical reaction to whatever it is. Revelation 16:2. The first angel went and poured out his bowl on the land, and ugly, festering sores broke out on the people who had the mark of the beast and worshiped its image. That sounds like a medical reaction to a pharmaceutical to me. Doesn't it sound like that to you too? That's just one. Another reason I believe it is because there will come that time, and I believe it's sooner than anyone realizes, where you will not be able to do anything if you have not been vaccinated. Oh, you want to go to the store and get some food? You cannot. Actually, your social credit score is too low, and actually, you can't even leave the house. You can't do anything. How do we know? Oh, we know. Because we...
Some are born and some are dying. It's Alpha and Omega's kingdom come. And the whirlwind is in the thorn tree. The virgins are all trimming their wicks. The whirlwind is in the thorn tree. It's hard for thee to kick against the pricks. In measured 100-weight and penny pound, when the man comes around. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts, and I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him.